We've all been looking forward to this day. Some of us call it graduation, some commencement, and others fondly refer to it as getting out. After the first, second, or maybe the 10th late night we spent in our academic buildings, we discovered our years at Georgia Tech would not be easy. We may have heard warnings before, but we paid them no attention because we here at Tech always enjoy a good challenge. Last spring, I was lucky enough to study abroad through my exchange program with the Office of International Education. I needed a really good tech-friendly read. The book I selected was called It Looked Good on Paper. This book details the rise and the fall of every seemingly flawless idea that, when applied to real life, failed miserably. From the collapse of the Tacoma Bridge, also known as Galloping Gertie, all the way to the short-lived 9-month stint of the Pony Express, I read about every failed idea that had once seemed pure genius. Celebrated inventors, entrepreneurs, and yes, even engineers once spent copious amounts of time, effort, and knowledge on these ideas just for them to embarrassingly fail. As I began to read, I started to realize failure is unavoidable. The way you respond to failure defines your ability to succeed. Without failure, there's no guideline for future endeavors. How can we excel at something without experiencing the worst? I guarantee you that any Georgia Tech grad sitting here today, perhaps a few alumni in the crowd, and even me, each one of us has a failure that we hold dear because we experienced it, we survived it, and that failure taught us something. Success goes beyond last week's physics test, this month's prototype, next year's salary. Today, we are unafraid to fail because Georgia Tech taught us that with failure comes success. Georgia Tech creates the kind of success that lets clever students pitch their inventions. What some sports critics may have called a failure of a football season with a 7-7 record, the Georgia Tech football team turned to success and brought home our first bowl game victory in 7 years. My fellow Yellow Jackets, today and for the rest of our illustrious, visionary careers, I encourage you to fail. Fail, pick it all back up, rebuild, and stun people with your success. Then tell them you learned it all at Georgia Tech.
Very nice, Katelyn. I've got a gift here for you. Katelyn, thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you.
Graduates, members of the faculty and staff, distinguished guests, families, and friends, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to the 245th commencement exercises at the Georgia Institute of Technology. Today we'll be awarding 1,750 undergraduate degrees in addition to the 750 graduate degrees we awarded last evening. As is the case for the success of our institute, success in life is seldom a one-person effort. As we celebrate the successful conclusion of one chapter of your lifelong education, it's important to acknowledge that you've not done it alone. With us today are many families, friends, and colleagues whose love and support have helped make this day possible. For some parents today that are here, it's not your first Georgia Tech graduation ceremony. So if you're a Georgia Tech alum, or if you're a parent of more than one proud Georgia Tech graduate through the years, please stand, wave, and be recognized.